I am. Thank you, Nani. It's a pen name. Actually, I was born in Germany, and I definitely do not live there now. I live in Miami, Florida. I am definitely happily divorced. I have an incredible son, and I absolutely adore him. So we have a almost 300-gallon saltwater fish tank with several different kind of fish in it. That's the only pet we have now, and I absolutely love watching them in their environment. I think right now we have six. No, no names for my fish. I am not a big foodie. I think the only food that would qualify is probably dark chocolate. That is my absolute favorite. I have two favorite colors, yellow and green. So yellow is a happy color. It's always brightened my mood, brightened my day. Green is the color of earth. It is a nurturing color, and so those two bring me a lot of happiness and calm. 100% football, not to play, but to watch. My favorite team is absolutely the Miami Dolphins. No matter how many times they lose, I am one of their number one fans. My favorite TV show would have to be whatever I'm watching with my son. We've watched many different kinds of shows over the years, and all of them are fantastic. Um, I the only ones coming to my head right now are the 100, which was crazy, and right now we're watching SWAT, which is amazing. I don't watch a lot of TV. I only watch the show with my son, and then I also watch HGTV while I'm cooking. Right now on HGTV, or Discovery, I should say, I'm watching The Aquarium, which is about the Georgia Aquarium. And I'm just fascinated with the care that they give to the animals. And so my TV is almost always off, except when I'm cooking or watching a show with my son. Well, I'm really bad with names, and remembering who's in what movie. I love Matthew McConaughey. I think a lot of that, not just his acting and the movies he does, but just his philosophy. Ian Somerhalder for sure is my number one, no matter what. Again, not only his acting, but his plight to save our planet and care for animals. Female actresses, yeah, nothing's really coming to mind. I like Sandra Bullock. Nope, nothing coming to mind. So fitness is extremely important to me. My schedule has been very complicated lately, so I haven't worked out as much as I like. I enjoy walking in my neighborhood. I have a beautiful path that's about 3 miles long. I love bike riding. Every morning I wake up and I do about 10 to 15 minutes with an app that I have just to make sure I get something in that day. But regular exercise right now just keeps evading me. I'm hoping to create a new routine once summer comes. So I have an anxiety disorder. So relaxing my mind is extremely important to me. I practice mindfulness, meditation. I use a technique called emotional frequency tapping. Um, and as far as activities, obviously, I love reading. and going to the beach. The beach is my sanctuary. So I find music to be background noise. I don't tend to listen to it. I'll listen to it in the car. Um, but I'm not really a genre type of person. I guess you would say pop, um, actually a little bit of everything except for grunge. I don't do grunge. I will tell you that my what would you call it? My guilty pleasure is watching videos of like AGT and American Idol, and watching like the auditions, and more so for the emotional connection to the people, the contestants. That for me is the only time I really get into listening to music. Otherwise, it's just background noise. So as much as music is not something I listen to all the time, I absolutely love dancing. I love going out with my friends and dancing for hours and hours and hours. Um, and then it really doesn't. We go to some disco clubs around here. We go to some contemporary clubs. But once I get on a dance floor, it's very hard to get me off. I can dance for hours. I love it. So people who really know me will say that I am dependable, that I am selfless, that I'm always there for them. Um, but there's very few people that know me like the whole me, because I'm very much a extroverted introvert. So I keep my guard up a lot. I think it's my social anxiety. I keep the guard up because it's part of my social anxiety. It's experiences throughout my decades um, of of I guess just negative responses. I'm also an empath, so I pick up on people's energy, and if I don't feel like um, someone's being genuine, I put my guard up real fast. I'm gifted with being able to see feeling that kind of energy. Sometimes it's a curse too, but it does keep me on guard. So my biggest pet peeve is dishonesty. I have a really hard time with people not being genuine. It's true. I can't. Because I can feel it. I can feel that they're not being themselves. If I can't trust you, I don't want to be around you. It's very uncomfortable for me. I am very neat. Everything has a place. I have a little bit of a OCD tendency, not full disorder, but I have been diagnosed with an OCD tendency. Everything needs to have its place. That being said, when my life is in chaos, everything around me will look that way, and I need to take time to reorganize my space so that I can then reorganize my inner peace as well. So yes, I prefer being me. My students see me as structured. I know that all humans benefit from some kind of routine, and especially students who struggle with reading. So I have a routine in my class. I have a structure. The structure starts with a journal, and then we go into a mindful minute where they focus on themselves, and then we recite some affirmations, positive affirmations, and then we get into the lessons. So I would say they see me as structured. I would say they see me as a great listener, as patient. They would definitely say that I'm extremely patient and calm. They've never heard me raise my voice. I've never lost it on a student. So yeah, I would say those are the words they use to describe me. We have a running joke in Florida, a Florida man. And if you look up Florida man, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, we've got some interesting characters living in the state. Um, they're not they're not very well raised, or well educated. Um, the things that you see on videos and stuff, that is very few and far between. I obviously I'm a teacher and I know a lot of teachers. We don't see that. I've never, well, I can't say never. I had one student in 28 years um physically get into my face. That student did not have I almost want to say he didn't have a soul. He was on a path to death. Um, that's one student and 28 years. Most of the kids are sweet and kind. I mean, they're rambunctious, absolutely. They're kids. But no, we don't see that. It's just the few that get highlighted, and then it makes it seem like the whole state is that way, and it's not. It really isn't. I have. I have run into many people who have a facade, and um, as time passes, you see it's not their true self. Um, it's disappointing, but I think unfortunately some people feel that they can't be their genuine self. Um, so when I experience those moments, I find my way out of that space and wish them well and then move on with my life. I prefer Facebook. I will be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on any social media. I've never been one to jump into the Twitter rabbit hole. I get on Twitter to support authors and I get right back off. Facebook, I have my personal friends on there and I enjoy scrolling and seeing the pictures they put of their families. I have former students on there after they become adults. I have friends from all over the world when I was moving a lot. So Facebook is definitely more my place. Instagram is again a place that I go to follow a very few handful. I follow my son's school so that I can see what's going on with his school. A few of my friends, my best friends like to send me little videos through there to make me laugh. So I'll look at those real quick. But again, if I spend 5 minutes on Instagram in a day, that's a lot. So I don't drink any soda at all, but back when I did, I preferred Coke because it wasn't as sweet. Nowadays, I just drink green tea and water and wine. So the healthy heart wine is the red wine, not the sweet red, more of a dry red or semi-dry red. And a glass of a day is supposed to be great for you. Um, and then it's just finding your palate. So I like places like Cooper's Hawk because they do wine tastings and samples. And then locally, we have a place called PRP that they only deal with boutique wines that um, care about their workers, care about the land. And so they do tastings there. And so we can learn more about not only the wine itself, but where it's from and how it's cultivated. And so when you start drinking, your palate tends to start very, very sweet. And as you, through the years, you tend to go more into the drier wines, which is the healthier wines. You know, I don't really meet a lot of people online. The only people I've met online that I would even consider to be a buddy would be through RRBC. I don't make connections with people I don't know. So I would have to say RRB authors. I don't really make the effort to meet anyone online. I've made author buddies, I guess you would say, through a poetry group. But I met the poetry group through people who are or were RRBC members. So because of that connection, I opened myself up to the poetry group. But I don't just randomly pick up people on the internet and become friends with them. I don't trust people like that. I would say um I would say in our rave videos, I would have to say surely Pat. Um, Pat cracks me up. She just has this jubilant personality, and every time she laughs, it makes me laugh like that. She's just full of positive energy. I love it. Um, there's so many. Well, I love the Tetrasphere series by PTL Perrin. Um, I only two. I love oh, I was just thinking about a book recently. Do I really have to stop at two? Because I would throw in there as well John Podlasky's books, especially the one that he was running away from something, and I can't remember the name of that one. So good. And then John Fioravanti, who has yet to finish the Genesis Saga series, and I'm still waiting for him to finish that series. So sorry, I know that's more than two. Wow, one book that I've read from an RRBC author. Um, that was so good that I think the whole world should read it. If I had to pick one book, I would pick one of the anthologies, just because it showcases so many incredible authors, and it has a little bit of everything. It has those touching moments. It has those moments that can educate. So I'd have to go with the Rise anthologies. I think they're phenomenal. I do. I actually post reviews on my blog. I post them on Amazon and I post them on some other sites. I think readers should base their reviews on their connection to the book. When I review a book, I'm looking at a couple things. I'm looking at um, errors because I can't help but see them. As a reading teacher and an English teacher, they just stand out to me. I'm looking at my emotional connection with the story. I'm looking for the plausibility of the story. Is it something that could happen even in fantasy? Um, and I'm looking to see if I stay connected to the story from beginning to end. I post a review of every book I read. And if the book is not good, I try to be kind, but I also be honest. I am also known to send a message to the author through Twitter messages, letting them know when I find errors and things that they might want to revisit. I know as an author, if there's an error in my book that got past me, I would want to know. So I try to do that as well. And most authors are very receptive. So I have. I have read a couple of books that needed um, revising and editing. And I've reached out to the authors to let them know. I think I am a good author. I love my stories and obviously I wrote them, right? But I also get a lot of feedback from people who have read my stories who say that they connect very well to them. And for me, that is the highest accolade. So I would like to think I'm a great author. My first memories of really writing, I was about 12 years old. I wrote a short story that I still have. I took my language arts teacher back then was very big into creative writing. So we wrote poetry, we wrote short stories. So I would say probably since the age of 12, I've been writing. Yeah, I've looked back at it. It's really, it's kind of funny. It's this little story about me and my friends getting stuck on an island. Um, I don't know. I honestly don't think it's that great. But I don't know, maybe one day I'll pull it out and try to modernize it. I love constructed criticisms. In fact, when Riza started up the critique groups, that was I was in heaven because I love having people read my work and tell me what isn't connecting for them or where they find errors or plot holes or where I can spruce up my characters. Because I am not a perfect writer and I love getting ideas bounced off other people because that sparks other ideas in me. So I have no issues whatsoever with people critiquing my work. So when I first started publishing my books, my very first published book, I got a review that um, said that the book needed to be edited. And my first reaction was like, but I edited it like 7 times. But as I continued writing and reflecting, I realized they had a point. It needed to be edited again. So when I get a bad review, I take a moment to see if there's any grain of salt. Is there truth behind the words? Um, I am very reflective. I analyze myself more than anyone else can ever analyze me. And I like to stick with truth. So if there's truth in it, then I take what they've said and I work with it. On my most recent published book, I had someone, was it my most recent? One of them, say that I was blasphemous. And that one I just had to chuckle because the story is a fantasy story. So it kind of goes with the genre. Um, so that one I just let slide off my shoulders because it wasn't anything that could help me grow as a writer. It was just that person's personal opinion. So I've written 6 novels and I believe 3 short stories. And I have one novel that is almost ready for beta readers and I'm currently working on a short story as well. My favorite books that I've published, I'll start with the standalone, Hype. This book is near and dear to my heart because it touches upon sexual assault. And I wrote it many, many, many years ago and then revisited it later. I've had some students that have unfortunately had to deal with that. So it was important to me to bring um, some awareness to that topic. And then of my Diasod series, I go back and forth, but I would say my favorite is probably the last one, or technically it's no longer the last one, but the last one, the one Awakened, just because it truly brings all of the characters' stories together and shows the growth that they've done through the series. I introduced my books at school at the beginning of the year. Hype is not a book that I um, would introduce to my students to read because of the topic within it. My fantasy stories, at the very beginning of the year when I'm introducing myself to my students, I let them know I'm an author and I show them the books. And I tell them that if they want to borrow them to read them, they can. I don't want them going out and buying them. And so yes, I have in the past shared with them the books that I've read. Times are changing, and so I don't know that I'll be doing that in the future. So of the two, I would say my favorite would be the one Awakened. Only because the first book in that series, this one, the one Discovered, is the book that got me into becoming an author. I had a dream and I woke up from that dream crying hysterically. It was the last scene in the book, and it just sparked in me this need to get the story out. And the whole series really helped me grow as an author. So the one Awaken is that culminating, you know, growth of the whole story and the characters. So would you read it first? Definitely not. You would definitely want to start with the one Discovered, or even my short story, The One Chosen, because that is an introduction into the series. And the book that I'm about to finish writing is book 6 of this series. So that's the one I would probably go with. So all of my books are on Amazon. I do have some books on Smashwords, which delivers them to various bookstores, ebooks like Barnes and Nobles, Kobo. But if you're looking for all of my books, you're going to want to go to Amazon. Yes, I have a blog and a website. The website really is just a landing page that connects to my blog. My blog is YvetteMCalleiro.blogspot.com. I would say from the very, very beginning, I was blessed to run into Rave Reviews Book Club. And since 2014, when I first published my first book, it has been my best resource. And I really don't use a lot of resources other than that because I find everything that I need there. I think our RBC is amazing. I love the camaraderie. I love the workshops that we do, the learning sessions that we have, the growth we're able to have. I love that every genre is accepted and included, and I love the Rave Waves shows. I love that the authors support each other. I can't honestly say anything negative about it. I truly feel honored and blessed. to have the lifetime status and to be a member of RISA. It's like that landing stage that lets you know you made it. That your writing is on par with excellence, and I am very proud of that. Because I try to do everything that I do with perfection as much as possible. So being able to be a lifetime member, being able to be a part of RISA is extremely important to me, and it's an honor, badge that I wear very, very proudly. So first, I want to say thank you, Nani, for taking this platform to a live level, and for constantly promoting authors and trying to highlight everything that we do in the author world. Um, I am surrounded by people that uplift me: my parents, my son, my friends, my fellow RRBC authors. And anyone who's watching this that is not in RRBC, I would highly encourage you to become a part of it, whether you're an author or just a reader. You're not going to regret being part of this wonderful organization, which I call a family. So thank you.